What's the dumbest thing your pet has ever done? Family dog went after a skunk and got sprayed. He had to spend the night in the garage, which he hated. We couldn't get him into our tub, so we had to bathe him in a nearby creek, which he hated even more and was very loud about how much he hated it. So you'd think he'd remember all that when he sees a skunk in the yard again maybe a week later. Apparently not, because he went straight after it and we had to go through the whole song and dance all over again. Ate 3 tampons from a trash can in a cabin in the middle of the northern Ontario boreal forest. Long drive to a vet for bowel obstruction surgery. She lived, thank God, set me back pretty good. Still paying that bill, but glad she's still around. Rescued a 3-year-old unneutered dachshund. He had lived in a cage basically his entire life and wasn't used to the freedom to run and play. In the month or so we had him before we got him neutered, he would repeatedly slam himself down on his balls when he would sit. Each time he would yowl, but would do it again soon after. Poor thing was so happy to be out of a cage he didn't know how to dog. I have 2 orange cats, one big and one little. They sometimes just sit facing each other and have slow slap fights. It seems to be a test of endurance. This was my friend's first Christmas with their rescue cat. When the cat saw the Christmas tree for the first time, he dropped flat to the ground and army crawled to the base, raced to the top of the tree, then tried to flee in a panic, but got a bead garland stuck around his neck. In his mad scramble to be free, he pulled the tree over, so it bent almost to the floor. Then the garland broke, so the tree snapped backwards violently, sending precious ornaments ricocheting and smashing all over the room in a hellish festivity of holiday delight. I own a frog. He regularly decides that when I'm cleaning the front of his tank is the perfect time to jump at me. He usually ends up getting swatted. Adopted a dog that was a real deal German Shepherd. He wasn't ever neutered and had aggression issues. I figured me and my pampered ass GSD could help him, and we did, but there is a lot of wildlife where I live. One night my adopted boy was able to run down a raccoon. He ran up a base of a tree, plucked this raccoon about 6 from the ground and whipped him down to the ground. My pampered boy thought it was some kind of squeaky toy and thought he could just pick up. It scratched him up so bad. He was so lucky it didn't get his eyes. Pampered boy never messed with the scary squirrels ever again. Well, there was this one time we closed our pool for the winter. My pug Archie was standing by my husband on our deck by the covered pool. I said, "Don't let Archie by the pool, he may walk on it." My husband said, "Nah, he's not that dumb." Sure enough, Archie walked on the pool cover and fell in. My husband jumped in after him. My cat once got its head stuck in the handle of a plastic grocery bag. It freaked her out so much, so ran through my house pissing and shitting everywhere. God, what a dumb animal. Ate a wasp. Ouch. Dog poops in yard. Seconds later, he comes to eat his meal. Eats far too fast. Goes back to yard and vomits everywhere on the poop. Proceeds to eat everything. My old German Shepherd Rollo just plain walked head first into a wall. Not running. Walking. XD, he was busy looking around for his treat ball. Dog, food equals no thought, only food. XD. I have a Chihuahua. Bold of you to assume he's peak. I have an American Cocker Spaniel. In the course of nearly 30 years I've owned like 5. This one shall be the last. Not because she is OOC. Not because she has horrible separation anxiety, and not because she jumps instead of running. I brought this dog to my soon-to-be wife's home. Dog sniffs around, is all kinds of happy. Then she has to go to the bathroom. Backyard she goes and runs to the corner of the fence, where she sits for 20 minutes, listening to the sounds of highway traffic. I love her, but my dog is dumb as paint. One got stuck outside for a week because he couldn't figure out how the cat door worked. Another chased her tail, caught it, bit it, realized that hurt, and hissed at it. That will teach it a lesson. My dog has good vision, but for some reason cannot locate anything in front of her face. There has been cats, her favorite animals of all time, walking right in front of her multiple times and she would have no idea. She would be about ripping her head off, looking every single direction looking for the cat besides right there, inches away, completely oblivious. There have been knee-high side walls next to sidewalks that I stopped to pet the cat that's sitting on it for just a second and she just trots along, didn't see a thing. Chased a laser dot up a wall, slammed head first. Brilliant creature, he is. My young dog choked on a bull penis. It was a piece of a bully stick and he tried to swallow it or something. I noticed immediately from across the room he was panicking and ran over to him, and luckily dislodged it from his throat. My wife loves shopping and finding good deals, and so whenever she finds dog treats on a good deal she gets them no matter what shape or size they are. I still get annoyed that she buys things big enough for him to choke on. But after a few years that was still the only time it happened. Hopefully he has just learned to chew his food. My childhood cat wouldn't stop attacking her own tail to a point that we looked into having it removed. Then suddenly one day she stopped. Well, my cat is pretty dumb, so he does dumb stuff frequently. The most frequent is probably getting the zoomies, and in the process forgetting he's a cat and knocking over everything. He recently knocked one bowl, one cup, a few pens and unluckily empty Coke can off a shelf in one motion, and then proceeded to get afraid of the noise of things falling. Somehow nothing broke. But my favorite dumb story of him was when he was younger, don't know if still a kitten or just an adult. My desk used to stand in the corner behind the living room door, so my desk chair, a big gaming chair, was close to the door. My cat had climbed on the back of the chair. He's always been obsessed with this chair. The door next to it was a similar height, so Kitty must have seen it and thought, wow, that's a great idea to go over there. What he didn't calculate is that wheelie chairs and doors both move. He had his hind paws on the chair, put his front paws on the door, and of course pushed them apart in the process. I saw my cat getting longer and longer, and saw the realization in his face he had made a mistake, until I went to rescue him from his predicament.